Hello guys,
Hi guys.
today we're gonna answer one of our most asked questions as an international couple, which is
How we met. Yes, how we met.
how we met for the first time as an international long distance relationship, Spanish, Korean.
Korean couple.
That's it. So you can start if you want.
Okay, so when we met, it was like 2022 September. I remember it was summer 2022. And we were on the same age. We met in Seoul, South Korea.
So, long story short, I was in South Korea because I was exchange student in Korea at that time. From August 2022 to June 2023, I lived in South Korea, like for that whole period. And I was an exchange student in Yonsei University. That's why I could live for 1 year in Korea. I have been here before, and that's also why I had the opportunity to meet her.
Yes, and for me, like I couldn't enjoy my campus life when I was in freshman and when I was a sophomore because due to the COVID. But I started living in Incheon because my university is in Incheon. Incheon is a city near Seoul. For those who doesn't know about like information about Korea. Anyways, so I started living by myself in Incheon, and like after 2 weeks later, like one of my friends who living in Seoul asked me for like just hanging out with her in Seoul. So I was like, yeah, like why not? Like we're just like having fun, grab some drinks, and then it became like too late. So I became so desperate to find the train or like subway, taxi, like bus, whatever it lets me to go back to Incheon. So I head to the bus stop near me, and there was him.
Yeah, at that time, well, more precisely, we met for the first time in Seoul, in Itaewon. I think most of you will know, like, this neighborhood is one of the most famous ones in Korea. And that day when we met, September 17th, I was there because I was celebrating my birthday and a friend's birthday as well. And we went to kind of a boiler room, which is kind of a techno club.
Yeah, because he's a fuckboy.
I'm not. Yeah, that's a fake news. You can ask my friends. Like, I don't like clubbing or going out at all. But yeah, anyway, we went there and I was with like 4 more Spanish friends. But I wanted to leave the club early. It was like 2:30, so it wasn't that early. But for them, it was early because they wanted to stay longer. The time that I met Eugene, I've only been in South Korea for around 20 days, so I didn't know Korean at all. I couldn't speak Korean, and also I didn't know very well about how to move around the city. So I searched for a bus in the neighbor map. Yeah, in neighbor map, and I headed to the closest bus station, to the bar where I was. But before arriving to the bus station, I was quite tight on time, but still I decided to eat a kebab in a kebab that was like on my way there. That was a terrible decision, but looking into the long term, it was the best decision that I could.
Yeah, and kebab is good.
That I could make.
Love kebab.
Yeah, because the kebab was delicious, and also I arrived to the bus station, and guess what? I lost the bus because I was eating the kebab, so now I had to wait for over 1 hour for my next bus.
Yes. Yeah. So when I was arrived to the bus stop, there was like a couple of Korean boys, and him was there. Not only him, but actually there was some like few of Korean boys were there, but he and them were speaking in Spanish. Like surprisingly, they were the Koreans who can speak Spanish. I thought like maybe after they finished their conversation, I could like approach to them and ask the Korean boys like, "Do you guys know how to go back to Incheon?" Like this. But then they just left us and take a Uber and just left us behind. Then they'll just leave the bus station.
Yeah, those guys.
Yeah,
majoring in Spanish in Korea University. Basically, they took a taxi and left the bus station like, I don't know, 5 or 10 minutes after they were talking to me. So it was only me and her in the bus stop. And she asked me about information on how to get to Incheon by bus. So she asked me if I know which bus does she need to take to get to Incheon. But of course, I barely know how to get to my own place.
I mean, now that I think that it's a bit hilarious. Like, imagine I'm like obviously Korean, and I am Korean, and he's like just a foreign guy's like who just came to Korea for the first time in his life, and me, I'm the one who asking to him about like bus information.
And I was like, I
Like-
barely know how to get to my place. Like, I had to get to Sincheon because I lived in Sincheon at that
Yeah,
time.
I mean, he was a nice guy, so he became like I don't know how the hell to go to Incheon, but I'm about to go to like Sincheon. So if you want to go to Sincheon, like you can take the same bus as mine. And I was like, what am I gonna supposed to do in Sincheon?
I was like, this is all I can offer. I know how to get to Sincheon, nowhere else. So yeah, she asked me about like some information, but of course I didn't know it. And after the like disappointment of me not knowing the bus, she asked me if I was speaking Spanish with those Korean guys, because before Eugene met me, she was already studying Spanish on her own. She already had some interest.
Because I'm interested in learning foreign languages, and I thought the Spanish is really cool. So I was like thinking about and learning Spanish, and he was Spanish, so I was like, what a coincidence.
So she could recognize the language by us speaking, and I told her like, yeah, I was speaking Spanish to those Korean guys. I was also super surprised that she could recognize the language. Like, I was like, oh my god, does everyone in Korea speak Spanish? Like, I was so surprised. I was like, more people speak Spanish than English in Korea. But yeah, and from there we started doing a small talk about several topics. I told her about being on an exchange in Korea, and she also told me about she recently started her university life.
Yeah, and also like his wallpaper of his phone was like Tokyo Ghoul,
Yeah,
like Japanese anime, and I'm a
Yeah.
huge fan of like Japanese anime. I'm like super otaku, so I was like became super enthusiastic and being
Yeah.
like, oh, you like anime, and we talk about like otaku some conversations. We
yeah,
enjoy some time talking about anime.
yeah. It was like 1 hour. It was only the two of us in the bus stop, and 1 hour until our bus arrived. So we
Yeah.
were basically talking the whole time. Like, we were two strangers at that time. And when my bus was about to arrive, like 10 minutes left, I decided to ask her about her Instagram, because that's the most, for me, that was the most, like, I wanted to keep a contact with her because I've never had a Korean friend before, even though I was in Korea.
Yeah, it's not a flirting way, not at all.
Yeah,
Not at all. We didn't like fell for each other at all. Like,
especially because at that time she was still wearing a face mask, because
yeah, it was pandemic.
it was
Still,
still pandemic.
regulation.
I remember first semester in Yonsei, I still had to wear the mask inside of the
Mm-mm-mm.
class. So I couldn't really see her face, although I thought that her hair looked really nice, because she used to be blonde. We're gonna put some photo somewhere, I think. So I decided to ask for her Instagram, because I think like it's gonna be nice to have a Korean friend, and especially as a foreign person, it's not that easy to make Korean friends. And I really had a nice conversation with her, so I felt like maybe we can keep contact, and like we can be friends, and maybe some other day go for a coffee or something like that. But she said no.
Yeah, I mean, so here's the explanation, because I know that for our generation, for like young people, it's quite supernatural to have like Instagram accounts, like all the social media accounts, but especially everyone has Instagram. But for me, I didn't use Instagram at the moment. In fact, I made it like quite recently. I started using Instagram like from since last year. So I couldn't. It doesn't mean that I couldn't let him know about my Instagram account. I mean, of course, now both we have. We're gonna put here.
Okay.
Anyway. So I asked him about like, what about exchange like Kakao account? I use Kakao. Kakao is like a WhatsApp, like messenger application in Korea that the mostly used in Korea. So I was asking about like sharing it, and he said yes. So since then we texted for almost 2 months. right?
Yeah.
And every day.
Yeah. Basically, we talked every day for 2 months, and conversation with her was so nice and so fun. Especially, she was my only Korean friend, so I used to ask her about a lot of stuff, like about Korean, because I was starting to like self-teach Korean.
Not only Korea, like we just talk about some interesting topics. Like,
Yeah, anime, science. I remember.
yeah, science, because I like science.
Yeah, she likes physics, so she used to recommend me papers and like TED talks about
I mean,
like.
we were a bit nerdy. I need to admit that we were a bit a nerd, but yeah, I enjoyed a lot. So I thought at the moment, like, oh, he wasn't a fuckboy. Like maybe he's a really nice guy. And since then we became a friend, like a friend.
Yeah.
Having a really good friendship. And after 2 months of texting, we plan to meet again each other.
We met again, and we went like on a kind of a date.
Date as a friend.
Yeah, I mean, we went for coffee. We also grabbed dinner. We tried to explore Hanok village, but it was rainy, so the whole plan was a bit
the
like.
first day was quite messed up. He was a nice guy who, even though he was a foreigner, but he led me so well, so I was like quite happy with it.
Yeah.
Anyway, this is how we met, and if you guys want to know more about this, we're gonna maybe make another video about this.
If you guys want us to explain a bit more on the dates that we had and how we actually started dating and say each other that we want
like
to date,
dating culture or whatever.
Yeah, just ask for it, okay?
Yeah. Anyway, this is how we met.
Yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video, and see you in the next one.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.